This is something I find really interesting. It seems so simple to us, and yet I think you'll see when I go through the progression how great this is. We take it for granted that we can see patterns quite quickly. This is obviously 3 to anyone who's familiar with looking at 3s. But for a first grade student, it may not be as quick and easy and obvious. So we practice, and what we're really practicing, you don't see it yet, but you'll see it soon. We're practicing grouping, seeing patterns of equal numbers and calculating more quickly because of it. So this is pattern, these are pattern cards or grouping cards. I call them all sorts of things. And they're great for practice. So here, obviously, 3. I show it to them. They say it. 3. Yes. 6. You see what they have to do? They're multiplying, or they're counting by 3s, 3, 6, whatever, and they're recognizing a pattern of grouping. This is really excellent work. 6, 9, 12. Ah, look what I've done. So yes, this is 12, and this is 12. So while I've been arranging them in very obvious patterns of little groupings, I can also throw in other arrangements. This is the similar arrangement, 4 groups of 3, 4 groups of 3, but I'm grouping them in a slightly different way. I always want to, especially once they start to master this, and they will fairly quickly with practice, I want to give them other versions, twists and turns to help them practice their skill. And yes, both of these are 12. Obviously, here we're seeing 2 patterns, right? Well, with all these, we're seeing different patterns. We're seeing groups of 3s, right? You got to recognize the 3s. Now we're also recognizing that X pattern of the 5. We take it for granted, those of us who've seen dice or dominoes or something all of our lives. But for the child, this is brand new. So it's fun to play with them and help them really master this. So then they see, oh, that's 5 3s. Oh, what is that? That's 15, of course. Here's another 15, right? This one's not even in a pattern of any kind. This is a little more random. But again, they can see, oh, 5 groups of 3. That's also 15. Did the same with 18. And now I didn't even put them in their little triangle groupings. I just did triplets in straight lines. But both are 18. A few more of these. Now we got 4s, right? 4s in the classic pattern of 6. 24. 5s in the classic pattern of 3s. It's 15. And then a little more random assortment of 5s. Both are 15. These types of cards are a great way to practice all sorts of things. Besides showing them groupings and counting by, they're practicing addition, if that's how they need to practice or most naturally gravitate toward adding, or they could also be practicing multiplication. It gives them an opportunity to find the answers in various ways. And as they learn which way is the quickest, they'll tend to practice that way. And it also is just great for them to experience that there's more than one way to the top of this mountain. Yes, I could say 5, 10, 15, or I could say, oh, 3 groups of 5. 3 times 5 is 15. Or I could say 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. There's all sorts of ways they can work with this. So grouping cards or pattern cards, these are really great for math practice as well.